As a really fair-skinned person, I have had my fair share of sunburns. I remember my entire childhood I spent fried to a crisp because we had jet skis, and I would spend hours and hours out there, and I just always was burnt. It didn't matter if I had sunscreen, it didn't matter if I put everything on. I really should have just clothed my body, because that's about the only way that I have found to efficiently not get sunburned. But that was until I found one specific kind of sunscreen that worked for me. I have tried lots and lots of different kinds. I've done natural, I've done conventional, I've done all kinds of sunscreen, and nothing really worked for me. I finally found one, and I was perfectly happy using this sunscreen, and they stopped making it. And so then I was on a mission, because I thought, you know what, if they can create something that does work, I'm going to figure out what it is, and I'm going to make my own. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to walk you through the process of making this really simple sunscreen that works really efficiently. So this is going to use some shea butter and essential oils. We're going to use some coconut oil. Now, to purchase everything, if you don't have any of these on hand, it gets a little bit costly, but really when you start doing the price breakdown of how many batches of sunscreen you can make, it's really, really inexpensive. So highly recommend that you do this.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So you may or may not know that every single thing that you put onto your skin goes into your bloodstream. Your skin is actually your biggest organ, and so anything that you put on is going to go in. So that's really important to remember when you are buying beauty products or sunscreen, whatever it is that you're going to put on your skin. Remember that it's going to go into the bloodstream, and it's going to have a big effect on your body and the way that things are functioning. So really quickly, I want to go through some of the top ingredients that are in sunscreen. Some of these things are actually proven to make you sunburn more easily, which is insane to me, because that's the last thing that you want in your sunscreen. So I have a list here, and I'm going to go through these with you and just kind of tell you what they are, what to look for on bottles of sunscreen or beauty products that you're buying, so that in the future you can recognize them and say, I don't want that into my own bloodstream, so we're going to avoid that product. So the very first ingredient you want to avoid is called oxybenzone, and that's oftentimes labeled as EWG8. It mimics estrogen when it goes into your bloodstream, and it's actually an endocrine disruptor. The next one is oxynoxate, which is EWG6. So this one mimics your hormonal activity, and it affects your reproductive system and your thyroid. The next one is retinol palmitate, and when exposed to sunlight, it's shown to speed up the development of malignant cells and tumors. That definitely seems like one that we should try to keep out of our stuff. Homosalate disrupts hormone balances. It accumulates faster than the liver is able to detoxify, and it brings on toxic burden to your system. Octocrylene produces free radicals. It causes mutations and damages cells when it's exposed to UV rays. The next one you've probably heard of, and this is parabens. They're in all kinds of things. Now you're going to see a lot of products that say that they're paraben free. But parabens are synthetic compounds commonly added to cosmetics. They prevent growth and fungus and bacteria. It's a hormone disruptor, potentially leading to the increased risk of breast cancer and reproductive toxicity. So the last one is platelets, and these are actually banned in almost all countries except for the United States. But here, a lot of bottles are now starting to say that they're platelet free. Basically this, on the back of your containers, is going to be labeled in the ingredients list as either fragrance or as DBP, and you want to try to avoid those, because when that enters your bloodstream, it actually increases your risk for polycystic ovarian. Nobody wants to deal with that. So all of this being said, we're gonna go make some of our own sunscreen so that we can avoid all of this garbage. It's really fascinating how natural products have a natural SPF to them. And so we're gonna go through some of those. I'm gonna hop over to my kitchen and we're gonna start mixing up some stuff. So right into a saucepan or a double boiler on your stovetop, you're gonna add 2 ounces of each of these 3 things. You need 2 ounces of beeswax. That's going to make things waterproof so that you can get in the water and it's not gonna come off right away. A lot of the recipes that you're gonna find online will not include the beeswax, and so it's just not waterproof. It really just rinses right off of you when you get into the water. So the beeswax is important. So you're going to do 2 ounces of the beeswax, 2 ounces of shea butter, and then 2 ounces of coconut oil. So you're going to put those into your pot. You're going to start melting those all down and get them nice and melty and incorporated together. And then as it's cooking down, you're going to add in just a teaspoon of vitamin E oil. That's going to give it a really nice smooth texture and consistency so that it rubs onto your body well. So all of those things incorporated together, get them melted, and then you're going to take it off of the heat. So when you go to look for zinc, you want it to read non-nano and uncoated. That's going to make sure that you have a pure product that's not going to be toxic to you. And so this, when you actually look at it under a microscope, the particle size of the zinc is bigger than what your skin barrier is, and so that's not going to penetrate the skin, it's not going to soak in, and it's going to make it last a lot longer throughout your day. So all of the ingredients that I'm putting in here have their own SPF, which I think is super cool. So the shea butter and the coconut oil, those have just really small SPFs. They're under 10, but they are contributing to protection. Where you're going to start getting the really big bang with the SPFs are when you're adding in these oils. The carrot seed oil alone gets anywhere from 38 to 40 SPF just from adding that oil to your recipe. The next one is raspberry seed oil, and that one is going to give you anywhere from 28 to 50 depending on what study you're reading. And the other one that I'm adding is myrrh, and that's because I have grown to just love the smell of myrrh. I think that it is this awesome woodsy smell. And so I'm adding that one in as well. I'm unable to find what the actual protection numbers are for myrrh, but I'm sure that it carries its own. I have this in here and I'm just going to let it cool all the way, and then I'm going to transfer this into a container. If you wanted to make something that sprayed, you could replace the traditional coconut oil with a fractionated coconut oil, and that's going to keep it liquefied much better than the normal coconut oil will. So if you wanted to be able to put this into a spray bottle and just like spritz it on yourself, you definitely can do that, but I would eliminate probably the beeswax in that case, because I don't believe that the beeswax is going to go through that sprayer without clogging it, which gets really annoying. I've clogged sprayers many times in my day. It's really frustrating. So you could do that, but you're like I said, you're going to eliminate the beeswax and you're going to replace the normal coconut oil with fractionated coconut oil, and that's just like a liquid form of it.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
So those are just a couple of ways that you can mix up different recipes of sunscreen one of which is a little bit more waterproof and the other one is a little bit easier application for when you're not going to be in the water and getting wet. So both very, very simple, took less than 5 minutes to mix up each one of those, and they're in the bottles and their containers and ready to be used. Very, very simple, and you're avoiding all of the chemicals and the potential problems that lie with conventional sunscreens. So I hope that we will see you next week on This Ohio Farmhouse. See you then.
Even if the sky is falling down,